We got a great fisherman going to be speaking next, Skeet Reese. I've known Skeet for a long, long time. He's one of those guys that just always catches the limit, no matter what. And his career has been absolutely incredible. You know the thing about bass tournaments nowadays, we've got to the point, these guys are so good, and BASS allows 100 fishermen in their top division, FLW allows 150, and in nearly every tournament, no matter how good the fishing is, how bad the fishing is, no matter the time of the year, the weather conditions, whatever, almost everybody catches the limit every day. I mean, really, that's just how good the bass fishermen, the professional bass fishermen have become in this country. And we fished a tournament down in Okeechobee this year at the top level of FLW, and there was 160 people in that tournament, and there was one person that did not catch a limit either day. That was the only person that did not weigh in a two days limit, was 10 fish, and then the top 20 and top 10 the next 2 days. But only one person, 159 out of 160 fishermen, caught a limit every day. And to tell you exactly how good the guys are, the first day of that tournament, I almost hate to say this, but I was 63rd place. And my 5 fish weighed 19 pounds and something. And that ain't bad. That ain't bad, 19 pounds. But it was bad there.
Yeah.
But it wasn't bad. I thought I was doing pretty good when I come in. The Skeet has got 56 top 10 finishes in BASS. He's won 6 BASS tournaments, 2007 Angler of the Year. And I don't know, he can tell you what he thinks about it, but to me, he's won the Bassmaster Classic also in 2009. But most of the fishermen, and I certainly believe this, the Angler of the Year is the most coveted title of all. Doesn't pay as much money as the Bassmaster Classic, but it's much, much better. And of course, it's easy for me to say I won Angler of the Year titles, never won the Classic. Skeet's won both, so he can tell you which one he thinks the best. But listen to this, he's been ranked the #1 bass fisherman in the world. He's from out here, he's one of these sissy fishermen from the West Coast.
He had to go there, didn't he?
But he's learned to fish for big fish in the South like the rest of us. And that's why he won over $3 million bass fishing. Give him a hand here on Skeet Reese.
Thank you, Jimmy. I've been in this industry for 27 years now. I've been around the fishing industry, tournament fishing, most of my life. 14 years old, fished my first tournament. It's amazing. It's once the fishing industry is in your blood, or fishing, it doesn't leave. And I don't care if you're, I mean, I've met people here today, they're just getting into bass fishing. They're saltwater. That's one thing we all have in common. I don't care. We all love to fish. How many of you know George Kramer back here? Legendary George Kramer. Woo. George, you didn't get many woots on that one. I just saw that just because, not that I've been home to pay attention to anything, because I've been on the road traveling quite a bit. But somebody, I mean, not that I had a great season last year, but it's not like I guess I did kind of suck for last season. If you followed my career at all. But I was informed that this is the first year in quite some time that I haven't made Georgia's top 40 California fishermen. So I will say this. This last season was quite a humbling year for me on the tour. Because if you follow the sport, you know that the last 10 years have been pretty good. I don't know, what is it, 56 top 10s, and I got spoiled. You get spoiled being on top of the list. And then I have a season like I had last year was E-brake and then a U-turn is what that one did. That was a little reality check by the end of the season. But I'll tell you one thing it did. It's got me fired up for next season. How many people in here tournament fish? How many of you play golf tournaments? How many played competitive sports of any kind? The rest of you just sat around and watched TV the rest of your lives. I see how it is. Well, I don't care what sport you're in. If it's baseball, basketball, soccer, golf, tournament fishing. If you play chess, I don't care what it is. If you play a competitive sport of any kind, gin rummy, you play to win. Am I right? Because second really does suck. Nobody plays for second place. And I realized that the last few years, I've fished to win. I've been able to win. And this last season, I realized that that fire and desire is still there. So I'm hoping to come out this next year and get back on track, because 2010, how many of you followed the 2010 season ahead? We fished the St. John's River, which is his backyard last year. How many watched that Bassmaster tournament on TV? That was a fun show to watch. It was a bad tournament for me to be at. I'm going to go back. It was one of the best practices I'd ever had in a tournament. And it wasn't pre-fishing, because all I was doing on the trolling motor, looking at them. And I literally had 25 fish on my Lowrance GPS over 5 pounds. There was 7s, 8s, 9s. I mean, I'll tell you right now, the St. John's River, they live there. So as much as overrated Florida is in most fishery, and most of the time, it really is overrated, except for like maybe there in the springtime in Okeechobee. The rest of the lakes, I mean, I've had good success there. I shouldn't knock it because I've won, blah, blah, blah. But that St. John's River was incredible to see that many big fish swimming around, and they're all 2-3 foot of water, eelgrass beds. But here's the kicker. I'm like a little kid the first day of the tournament. I got to run to the bathroom 5 times. I'm so excited. Because to me, it was going to be the easiest 30-pound limit to get started with that I ever could have caught. Because, I mean, I find these fish and I go one cast, practically, oh, that's a big one. First day of the tournament, I run. And there's one little area that had a bunch of big ones in there. And there was like 3 or 4 over 8, just locked on, mean, stupid, aggressive. I get there, there's a boat in every one of them. And they'd already plucked the big ones before I got there. I'm like, all right, no problem. I'll just go to I'll go to the 6 over here, 6 over here, 6 over here. Out of 25 fish that I had marked, every one was gone except for the ones that got caught in the morning. They just disappeared. And I mean, I was left there with just, I'm going around looking like, that one's not there. I go home and look at my GPS, that one's not there. About noon, I panicked. That was interesting. I've never experienced a fishery like that, but I just want to give props to Terry that he's got one heck of a fishery out there. If you ever want to go to the other side of the country, where the other half lives, it's a pretty good place to go. And I will say this, because I've seen a lot of places around the country. It's probably one of the most beautiful rivers I've ever been on. I don't know if you call it a river, it's a tidal system, but it's freaking beautiful. I'm going to cover this, because I've been asked about 10 times, at least, since I've walked in this show today, about Stratos boats. And they're like, is your boat any different? Because everybody thinks, oh, it's a Stratos, it's different. That Stratos Champion Elite 210 is the identical boat hull design that we've been running on Champion 210 for the last 7 years. But better. This has been interesting. Is Rick Clunn is the reason I am a professional bass fisherman. I read a story about him in a magazine when I was 12 years old, talking about him being a professional bass fisherman, ex-computer nerd, geek, gone bass pro. And at 12 years old, I was like, I didn't know what it meant. I was like, his job is catching fish. That's cool. I'm like, that's what I want to do. So my first knowledge of being a professional bass fishing was Rick Clunn. So he set the dream, he set that bar, like, I want to do it. I want to fish for a living too. And the coolest thing about it is, since I've been on tour, which is 12 years now, he's become one of my best friends on tour. And I only wish I could have his wisdom and his common sense, because he's phenomenal. But this is what I was leading up to. The dude that inspired me to be a professional bass fisherman is fishing my rods and reels now. How weird is that? I'm like, dude, you're Rick Clunn. And he's throwing yellow rods. He's got his line of crankbait rods as well. He's got throwing my reels. I'm like, oh, this is just kind of weird, but cool. I'm like, I am honored, and just I could tell you all I want about my rods and reels, but just the fact that he fishes them, to me, speaks way more than what I could tell you about up here. But bottom line is, if you're looking for a great affordable rod at an affordable price, the yellow rods, they're the #1 selling bass rods in the country for a reason. So, end of story.